Chevron plans to reduce its workforce by up to 15%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at a few articles from offshore energy to discuss Chevron's plans to reduce their workforce by 15%. Now, if you're not familiar with Chevron, they're a successor to Standard Oil. They're an American multinational business, and they have a significant foothold in Western Australia. They're leading, and I'll read this from their website, leading a combined investment of $80 billion in the Gorgon and Wheatstone natural gas projects, representing the largest single investment by a company in Australia's history. Even I have put together some proposals for Wheatstone, for some modular construction proposals back in the day. You know, we've got a lot of experience doing remote, volumetric, modular construction as architects. Back in the day, even we did some work on Wheatstone. So they're a big player. If they're making workforce reductions by 15%, it's something to keep in mind, particularly for Western Australia. We can jump here to marine traffic, and you can see here all the tankers coming to and fro from Western Australia. Just see all the shipping that's flooding out of Australia, heading overseas, guys. You know, we are a big exporter nation. So let's jump over here. Let's have a look at this. And do you know anyone that's working for Chevron? What are your experiences with them as an organization? So Chevron plans to reduce the workforce by up to 15% this year. Oil major Chevron is planning to reduce its nearly 45,000 strong workforce by 10 to 15% this year due to negative impacts of the pandemic, coupled with a sharp decline in oil and gas prices. Chevron has already revealed how it plans to mitigate the effects of the current market environment. Now, if you don't remember, oil took a big hit, and right now, well, we will jump to trading economics. So let's have a look to see how once it loads up. I've got the wonderful NBN here in Australia, guys. It's going beautifully slow. We'll look at what the current oil price is. But, oh, there you go. Wow, can't even get the... Well, then, we're not going to look at the current oil prices. Fantastic NBN we have here in Australia. Oil pretty much went to near zero, went under zero at one point, because people were doing whatever they can to avoid taking delivery of the oil because of the storage costs. And there we go. Internet's finally up. So we'll jump to commodities. We'll jump here. Crude oil was at 35.49 at the moment. Brent is at 35.31. So it's come back up. Still heavily down from yearly. We'll jump here. Let's go to Brent and see if we'll bring it up. Now, and you can see here, there you go. It's hitting down at $18, $19. So, Chevron's actions include reducing its guidance for 2020 organic capital and exploration spending by 20% to $16 billion. The company is also taking other actions to support its balance sheet. These actions include the suspension of its $5 billion annual share repurchasing program after repurchasing $1.75 billion of shares during the first quarter. Just think about that they have a $5 billion share repurchasing program. So they've got $5 billion, they've got nothing better to spend on than to inflate the value of their shares. Wonder what benefits all the people with stock options receive from that. In a statement sent to Offshore Energy, a spokesperson for Chevron said the company is also streamlining its organizational structures to reflect the efficiencies and match projected activity levels. The spokesperson explained the new organizational structures will unfortunately require approximately 10 to 15% fewer positions across the enterprise. Regarding the impact, Chevron said that the reductions will vary across the company and that most of it will take place this year. The spokesperson added, "This is a difficult decision and we did not take it lightly. In recognition of these extraordinary times, we've enhanced the resources available to those leaving Chevron to provide a stronger safety net as they transition out of the company." So we'll have a look at another article, this one here, that they've already revealed how it plans to mitigate these effects. So let's have a look through this. So they're trimming their 2020 spending by $4 billion. Oil and gas major Chevron has made a decision to reduce its 2020 capital spending plan by $4 billion, thereby joining many of its peers in drastic measures to mitigate the negative effects of the pandemic and the recent plunge in oil prices. Apache, Murphy Oil, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Noble Energy, Shell, Aker BP, Husky Energy Total, and Lundin are only some of the operators that have decided to slash their budgets for 2020 as a response to the challenging market situation. This oil sector and natural gas sector, it's been hit bloody hard, guys. Chevron said on Tuesday it is making several steps as a response to current market conditions. With an industry-leading balance sheet and a flexible capital program, we believe Chevron is resilient and positioned to withstand this challenging environment, said Chevron Chairman and CEO Michael Wirth. Given the decline in commodity prices, we're taking action expected to preserve cash, support our balance sheet strength, lower short-term production, and preserve long-term value. The company is reducing its guidance for 2020 organic capital and exploration spending by $20 billion to $16 billion. Reductions are expected to occur across the portfolio, and it is estimated there will be a reduction of $2 billion in upstream unconventionals, primarily in the Permian Basin, a reduction of $700 million in upstream projects and exploration, a reduction of $500 million in upstream-based business spending broadly across our U.S. and international assets, and a reduction in $800 million in downstream and chemicals and others. According to Chevron, cash capital and exploratory expenditures are expected to decrease by $3.3 billion to $10.5 billion in 2020. These are just some insanely big numbers we're talking about here. This is a big multinational, guys. Total capital and exploratory spending in the second half of 2020 is expected to be around $7 billion, an annual run rate 30% lower than the approved budget announced in December 2019. So production's flat. Excluding 2020 asset sales and price-related contractual effects, the company expects 2020 production to be roughly flat relative to 2019. Chevron's net production increases about 20,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day for each $10 movement lower in Brent oil price due to contractual effects. Permian production by the end of the year is expected to be about 125,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day, or 20% below prior guidance. The flexibility of our capital program allows us to respond to these unexpected market conditions by deferring short-cycle investments and pacing projects not yet under construction, says Jay Johnson, Executive Vice President of Upstream. At the same time, we are focusing on completing projects already under construction that will start up in future years while preserving our capabilities to increase short-cycle activity in the Permian and other areas where prices recover. So, suspension of their share repurchases. In addition to reducing capital expenditure, the company is taking other actions to support its balance sheet. These actions include the suspension of its $5 billion annual share repurchase program after repurchasing $1.75 billion of shares during the first quarter. Furthermore, the company completed the sale of its interest in the Malapay fields in the Philippines with proceeds over $500 million received in the first quarter. In April, the company expects to close the sale of its upstream interest in Azerbaijan and its interest in a related pipeline. The company continues to execute its plans to reduce run rate operating costs by more than $1 billion by year-end 2020. Chevron's financial priority remains unchanged, said Chevron Chief Financial Officer Pierre Berber. Our focus is on protecting the dividend, prioritizing capital that drives long-term value, and supporting the balance sheet. Financial and operating results. Recent decreases in commodity prices as a result of the pandemic on reduced demand and geopolitical pressures increasing supply are expected to negatively impact the company's future financial and operating results. Due to the rapidly changing environment, there continues to be uncertainty and unpredictability around the impact on results, which could be material, Chevron concluded. So there you have it, guys. Chevron planning to, well, trim their workforce, trim their spending on an international level. We're talking some huge numbers here. And a business that has a huge presence in Western Australia. And I'd be shocked if we don't have some viewers who are working on or have been involved in the Chevron project recently or at the moment. We'll have to see what impact this has on WA and on some of the workers. As always, please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and you'd like to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us via using our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. You can buy a merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time.